back at it like a crack addict. Go ahead, Eugene, do your thing.
What's up, man? Y'all already know what it is. First off, before we go any further, please hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button. Please subscribe to this podcast, to this channel. My man Andre doing his thing, opening his platform up to a variety of different topics, a variety of different personalities, and a variety of different experiences that he's offering you all. Please support him. Pretty soon, he probably gonna have a Patreon. Y'all need to go ahead and support that. Hey, man, we're back at it again, man. Pastor versus the Heathen here. Two viewpoints, seemingly sometimes diametrically opposed, but I think we're gonna have some commonalities once again. And we have our wonderful hosts and commentators joining us. Man, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Yo, Mo, you there? Go first if you there, Mo. If you still on the phone, let us know. She probably still on the phone. Lord have mercy, Jesus.
Say it again.
There we go.
There we go.
All right, I was just making sure you finished rubbing your man's feet. Go ahead, Mo.
What did you text me?
No, I ain't text you nothing.
No, what did you ask me?
No, we was introducing. Look, yo, she's after today. Monica man will be fired on this show. Lord have mercy.
Hey,
Jesus.
everybody, this is Monica hanging out with the
She's
fellas.
supposed to be our moderator, but she's tending to her man. So we
Sonny's supposed to hold me down when I gotta do my
man. Sonny got that thing in him. And now Sonny. So listen, y'all. So Sonny is gonna kind of challenge me and Eugene and I's vantage points on some of these topics. So we got our resident antagonist Sonny in the building with us today. Sonny, I don't know if you want to be on camera for this moment. If not, you can stay off camera and just say what's up.
Yeah, my hands is full right now.
Yes,
but
Henny in one hand, Coke in the other.
Horseshoes.
Lord Jesus. All right, bro. So, hey, Mo, get your clock ready for Eugene, man. Eugene, where you at, man? He's at his side wife house, y'all. See, he done came to the Lord's side. He done got him
Don't do that. Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
He done at his side wife house.
No.
He in the car. You know, if you're in the car after 9:30, you know what that means. All right, so Eugene, first topic, whatever it is, let me know, and you go first, or you want me to go first? It doesn't matter.
No, man, bring us in. Introduce us in, bro.
Yo, you the one that came up with the topic, bro. If you want to talk about IME being rehired, or if you want to talk about,
let's start off with running. It seems as though, man, this drama series in the NBA seems to get an extension and a new season every week. Former Boston Celtics coach Ime Udoka is seemingly about to be hired by the Brooklyn Nets for their head coaching vacancy. And so what we're seeing here, and I was just talking to Dre about it, at what point are we going to have actually being held accountable for mistakes and immoral actions that were taking place? At some point, we have to, and the more we delve into this story, the more we realize exactly what this man was doing and a reason why they said, hey, we're going to just part ways with you, or we're going to suspend you for the whole season. You know, the Celtics haven't even requested any draft compensation or monetary compensation for Coach Udoka to be hired by another team. They're literally saying, bruh, if you can go, just go. All right, we won't hold it against you. We'll release you. We ain't going to fight for you, nothing. This man got the Celtics to the championship. He swept the Brooklyn Nets. KD swept them in the first round. And they're not trying to hold on to him for anything. That has to speak to the severity of the actions that he took place, but yet the NBA and yet other organizations are allowing for this man to be able to come into their organization, not even have to really fulfill a year-long suspension. He's been suspended, a month, if that? And then he's able to just continue as if though nothing happened. So it's not even as though he's going from the Boston Celtics to the Indiana Pacers. He ain't going to the Sacramento Kings. He's going to a contender, a bona fide championship contender with three superstars on the roster. Like it's absolutely amazing. And at some point, I do believe we just have to look at ourselves and say, you know what, has enough time passed for him to be reflective on the decisions that he made? This man allegedly had affairs with top level executives' wives, as well as he had an improper relationship with a subordinate. Whether or not it's consensual in certain instances, um, for you to engage in those type of relationships with an underling, it's inherently problematic. And right now, I'm more concerned with has enough time taken place, or has he been able to reflect and repent, and move forward and learn from those actions before you're putting him back in the same position to where he can make the mistake once again. And I would present for your consideration that that hasn't taken place, and you're putting him in a toxic situation already with KD and Kyrie Irving, and then you're going to give him the same amount of authority. Man, that's setting that man up for failure. It's not right. It's not right on any level for him to go. Dre, you muted, bro.
I was saying, go ahead. You fell off real quick. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm done.
All right, so I'm gonna be short too. So you ain't got to time us on this one, Mo. If you still awake, I know you about to get fired. Um, basically, my thing is, like I told you earlier, like, okay, did he? Okay, he broke team rules. If you want to say it was immorally incorrect, that's between him and Neil Long. I feel like like I said from the first time, I'll say it again. He's doing the Lord's work. That man he was enjoying multiple women, and he was still. You think about, first of all, he's a hero. This man balanced that many women and that many affairs, and still got his team to the NBA Finals in his first year. That man is a genius. Get a Lord a hand clap for him. Number two, like, yo, it's a business. The NBA is a business, right? Magic Johnson once said he had like what, 6 women in bed at the same time, but we love him for his smile and his.
Wait, we really gonna use Magic Johnson?
Yeah.
As the example.
You know why? Because the one thing. Because you know why? Because the one thing Magic Johnson always remains doing through all the trauma is he stayed positive. So it's the reason why we.
I was about to. Trey, you ain't right for that.
But the bottom line is that Ime is a talent, man. This man got his team to the NBA Finals in 1 year with having all those women. There should be a parade for Ime Udoka, right? There should be a parade. This man showed you that you could balance that you could balance the life of being a man of the Lord, as Solomon was, and having all these women and wives, and still be able to come to your job and lead men. And listen, he's going to have his work cut out for him for Kyrie, and he definitely going to have his work cut out for him with KD, because neither one of them are leaders. But, yo, you can't take none away from them. You can't. I think it's a business. It's right. That part shows you that it's a business, right? Like, yo, as long as you don't say nothing about this one, as long as you don't say nothing about that one, yo, you can coach. Now, listen, I don't know if y'all remember this, but Mark Jackson had a similar issue in Golden State where there was an affair that went down, right? And, it's one of the reasons why he can't get a coaching job again. And Mark deserved another shot. He deserved the Knicks.
Oh, he deserves this job.
He deserved the Cavaliers. He deserved the Lakers. And that thing about him and his situation kind of went astray. So, listen, Ime Udoka is the business of the sport, man. And like I said, let him and Nia Long deal with what happened within the bedroom and within his affairs. Yo, the Brooklyn Nets got a great coach, man. Listen, isn't America a place of a second chance? You know
Well,
what? That's
apparently,
just what it is.
it might be a place of a second chance, but apparently there was 3 or 4 women, so he on his 5th chance.
That man was doing the work of the Lord, man.
Listen,
Like,
my
do not make
only,
me get my Bible out, please.
hey, bro, my only contention, not my only contention. I have a host of contentions, but it's what it sets. It's the precedent that is set. It's the priority of it's your job performance. Does your job performance excuse immoral behavior? It's not even about Nia Long and their relationship. It is the fact that you you didn't value your personal relationship with your boss to where and I'm trying, if it hasn't been substantiated, I don't want to put names and stuff out there, but to apparently, allegedly, you talked to a vice president, an executive, you had an affair with an executive's wife, your boss's wife.
Maybe she needed counseling. Maybe she needed some counsel from him, man. Maybe that, you know.
Hey, listen. The main person that needed counseling was Jason Tatum during the finals. To say he needed to counsel him, don't you ever text Kobe anything in his number with that job performance you turned in during the finals. You need to stop texting Kobe's phone number.
Allegedly, he said he was hurt now. That's what he said, right?
Okay. All right.
Allegedly, he had I forgot what was a broken finger or something. So he said.
Okay, he lost his mind texting Kobe that foolishness. But anywho, what I'm saying is like at some point, like you didn't value the company structure. You didn't value your workforce dynamics enough to do that. Workforce culture, the having a safe space and working environment, and then on top of that, it's a subordinate. Then one of your people that you were having an affair with is a subordinate. Like that's unfair pressure to put on somebody. It's almost, and I don't want to use the term as saying it's exactly the same, but I'm going to use the term statutory rape, right?
Oh Lord.
So I'm not saying it's the same thing, but the ideal behind statutory rape is underage person cannot consent to sex. Right? It doesn't matter.
I agree.
It doesn't matter that because of the difference of maturity level, the difference of experience, whatever it is, they cannot consent. So even though they say yes and they might want to partake in it, by nature, inherently, they cannot consent. I think there are elements of that exist in a superior and subordinate relationship. There are too many dynamics at place that I think exist to call in question the ability of a subordinate to actually give consent to engage in those kind of behaviors. It's too many workforce pressures, too many societal pressures. It's too much going on, and it makes it even worse. And I know, and I'm not going to apologize for that because it's just the truth. It makes it even worse when the superior is also a male and the subordinate is a female, because now you have to bring in social dynamics and gender dynamics that play a part in that as well. And so for all of that to fly, because he won enough games in the East to make it to the finals, to where he wasn't completely embarrassed by Golden State when he lost, to excuse that, nah, man. He needs to be out at least a whole season. At least a whole season.
I think when it comes to business, right? When it comes to business, outside of the people that Kanye and Kyrie, the sect of people, or the, how can I say, let's say lineage, outside of the lineage of people that run the business that Kanye and these people be referring to, it's business. If you notice, everything is fair game until you deal with what they tried to deal with, right? It's business. For example, this is what I'm telling you. Look at what Charles Barkley did last night. Look at what Jay Williams did on ESPN today, right? Now, listen, I am no Kyrie fan as far as his thought process at all, right? But Charles Barkley said on Tuesday, you can't take my $40 million and insult me, right? Now, here's the dynamic of that, what I'm saying. Adam Silver is one of the people that he so-called insulted or had a pejorative type tweet towards, right. David Stern, who proceeded, right, Adam Silver, is one of them as well, right. So you see where the line has drawn in the sand on the business side. But when it's time to win games and it's time to like win championships, yo, if you the best coach and you can perform, I'm gonna bring you in. Right? I don't care of your taste in women. I don't care if you want 20 women. I'm gonna bring you in. And that's what happened, because that's the business. Outside of you insulting the owners of the business, because that's what it's considered, because that's what they are. You listen, the Brooklyn Nets might have in his contract, we'll find you 5 women in Brooklyn every night. Because that's what business is.
Well,
right? For example, let me show you something.
Go ahead.
Hey Mo, you there? Unmute your mic. She don't.
Hold on 1 second.
Hey Mo, if I came up with a formula to outsell everybody else's CMOS, right? And me and you were partners, right? Right? But you also knew I was a womanizer. Wouldn't you kind of like turn your head and say, Andre, let's sell this CMOS. I don't care if you got 35,000 women. Right? Because why? It's business. What I do in the bedroom ain't got nothing to do with the CMOS that I created for you. Right? Because that is your market advantage.
Sure, but there's a difference between saying, hey, this person is a womanizer versus this person was abusive. Like this person violated. Like there was some
But it was consensual. You said that.
And again,
and me and you both know that.
Yes, but what I'm calling into question is, can the relationship between a subordinate and a superior ever truly be consensual? And I don't think I think there's enough to suggest and to challenge whether it can ever be consensual.
See, the only way I can challenge that is I might get canceled for what I'm about to say. Lord help me. I'm about to get canceled. Have you ever been to Boston?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So how many outside of Chicago, how many northern United States cities are as racist as Boston?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, right? So let me ask you a question. Do you think IME UDOKA has the power or even has the a mitigated gall to say, well, I'm a black man in Boston and I'm going to force you into this relationship that you don't want to be in because I'm your superior? You think he does that in Boston? You don't think he looks in the mirror every day and realizes where he's at?
Yeah, and you don't, but that's the thing. He doesn't have to intentionally wield the power in order to possess it, right? So he doesn't have to say, I'm going to go out and I'm going to say to some woman, hey, I'm your boss, therefore you got to engage in these sexual favors to me. All he has to do is make the advance. And what is the reality for so many women, particularly entering into the workforce, particularly trying to enter into executive levels of the workforce, is that they deal with this kind of pressure on a daily basis of trying to determine whether their interactions with their male counterparts are completely professional, or if the things that they say can be perceived as invitations for sexual advances. So what happens when a male counterpart interprets their conversation as an invitation for sexual advancement? Now they have to make the decision on how do they respond, and they have to taper their responses in those circumstances. And it's difficult enough when it's your cohort, when it's your when it's your equal. I can only imagine, like, dang, I can't really. How do I have to respond when it's your superior, it's your boss, like your job and her job was essentially as his assistant.
I agree with that, and that's
Like,
my thing. That's where to me that's where you kind of like you're like indirectly proving my point. Is like we live in a Me Too era. Like these women have the advantage when it comes to that stuff. Like you think he doesn't acknowledge that he's been in the league. Let me tell you a true story, right?
mhm.
I ain't gonna say his name. I used to dress some of the New Jersey Nets, right? So one of the players, right? This is yo, true story. In 2006. Now, at the time, he was playing for the Dallas Mavericks, though, right? So he would always give me tickets every game. Even when he was with the Mavericks, he would call someone from the Nets because each player get a certain amount of tickets, right? So he called me. He's like, I got tickets for you to watch us versus the Nets because at the time he was with the Mavericks, right? And he said, "Do you have a woman friend to come with you?" I said, "Yeah." Why? He said, "Cause you gonna sit between my wife and my woman friend. So I want you to have a woman with you. So my woman, meaning my wife, won't notice my other woman cheering for me at the same time because there's a man and a woman between them." Right? That taught me something. And then I remember when he started playing for the Nets, right? They went on a road trip. And when I say the road trip wasn't a road trip because they went from New Jersey to play the Sixers. Staying at the Lowe's Motel, it was 50 women waiting for them in the lobby. Right? These men have access. Do you think Ime Udoka, like that thing, not only was the relationship consensual, I'm willing to say like it was provoked upon him more than he was like really looking for them. Because that's just how that's what this world gives you when you have resources, money, and access. It gives you the fruit. It does. Ime Udoka was a garbage man, we wouldn't even be talking about it. So he is a good coach. We're gonna find out if he can make water into wine with the Brooklyn Nets, and more than likely he won't. But yo, what it's like, yeah, to me, the vendetta was one, he broke company rules, and then two, he was dealing with people that was like, how dare you deal with my wife on a consensual basis? And that's my wife, and I'm your superior. That's what it was about. It was not about, to me, it wasn't on the level of, like you said, of statutory rape. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, I know what you was using when you
Yeah,
said that, but it wasn't on that level.
and again, bro, like, I mean, I the the argument, that's the argument that so many celebrities use when they get accused of sexual misconduct, right? So
100%.
I went to Florida State, right? And you know, I'm diehard Garden and Gold, all of that stuff. I was on campus in 2012, 2013 when Florida State won a national title, right? And we won a national title with Jameis Winston as our quarterback. And you all know, I mean, during that season, what happened? He was accused of, some sexual misconduct.
Right.
And so, in the argument, a lot of times, the argument that people would make in support of Jameis was, I mean, he's Jameis Winston. He don't need to do, he don't need to abuse nobody. He don't need to force that. He don't need to engage in that. He's Jameis Winston in the South at Florida State and a Heisman winning quarterback and leading them. He was a 5-star recruit, like one of the top quarterbacks coming in. Like, what does he need to do that? That can't be, that can't be our go-to argument to say, oh, he didn't make inappropriate actions. just because he has access. Um, he has access to other women. Um, because those kind of actions, they're seldom about the actual relationship. They're extensions of an expression of power, and that seemingly is his motif. Because if it's just about sex, and it's just about having sex with attractive women, then it's like you said. I mean, dude, you the head coach of the Boston Celtics. You got your team in the playoffs.
Right.
You got your teams in the final. You can have your pick with who to experience an orgasm with.
Facts.
So it's not just about the orgasm. Then it has to also be about some element of authority, some element of elite access, and control. And I think that's what becomes problematic, is if this is an exercise in power, then that can be dangerous to allow an unrepentant person to wield that same power in another organization without taking some time off to reflect,
I
repent,
understand.
and
Hey,
So you so hold on, Marcus.
can I
So
say something?
yeah, you can hold on, Marcus. So before I
Yeah.
let Marcus go in, so you're basically saying, in a nutshell, cumulatively, that you feel like he hasn't had long enough time to reflect on his actions of what he did in Boston to now going to a place like Brooklyn and just pick up like he didn't sleep with all those. So you're saying he just didn't have enough time to like see what
yeah,
he did wrong because the
yeah,
punishment wasn't
essentially,
long enough. Okay, go ahead, Marcus.
essentially, yeah.
Go ahead. All right, Marcus, you on? He must be muted and don't know it. Well, look, Marcus, you there? He must have. Hey Mo, you didn't really
Nah,
answer.
I'm
Oh,
here.
okay. All
I'm
right, go
here.
ahead.
Nah, I had people texting me at the same time,
Oh,
so it
okay,
kind of
all
messed me
good.
up. But no, you asked a question.
No, I asked him a question before you said that. I just asked him a question, basically asking him. All I asked him was, so his opinion is that Ime Udoka was not away from the game long enough for him to reflect on all of the. I don't think what he did was necessarily wrong. Or, it's between him and Nia more or less. But he's saying that the fact that he had these situations with these women, he wasn't away from basketball long enough to really reflect on the decisions he made. Um, and my opinion is strictly, it's business. They're gonna be like, if you can win ball games outside of Boston, you could come to Brooklyn and do it. They're gonna give him a job. That's kind of how it works. But go ahead, make your statement.
Yeah, I think I got a different approach.
Okay, go ahead.
My thing is, I think you said something earlier similar to it, but my thing was the example of a dude that works at McDonald's. And if it was a dude that worked at McDonald's, and just because he was the manager and he slept with one of the employees, nobody would even think twice about it. Nobody would, if anything, people would raise hell if he had to be suspended for a month of work just because he slept with one of the employees. So it makes a big difference on that page. Another thing is when we get into talking about like making it into a godly thing or a moral thing, right? Everybody's morals is different, and obviously the NBA has their own rules, so their morals are totally different from religious rules. It's a lot of factors to really put into perspective when it comes to this whole genre. And then when we talk about I ended up leaving my notes on the side, but when we talk about the him being picked up by the Brooklyn Nets, the reason why they pick him up is because it's just like working at McDonald's. If this was a person who worked at McDonald's and he was the manager and he was bringing so many sales at this company more than anybody in a whole year out of all the McDonald's, but he happened to get fired over some stupid shit like him sleeping with one of the employees, another McDonald's is definitely going to pick them up quick because they know the potential that he lays. It ain't about him sleeping with them. That's a personal problem. What we got going is a business. It's a completely different ball game.
I agree with that. That was my hope. Yep, I agree with that as well. I agree that if he can produce what the NBA need, well, what the Brooklyn Nets at this point need him to produce, bro, we will provide you the women. Like, they don't even care, right? Because when you're talking about the money that flows through the top to the bottom, right? When you're talking about, you think about what people don't really understand when you think about an NBA season. Brooklyn is a little bit different because there is no parking. There's very low parking, right? In where Atlantic Pacific is at in Brooklyn. But when you look at, like, let's say when the Nets played in New Jersey, right? You had to pay $30 for parking per game. Concessions alone, right? You figure at the end of each quarter, you see everyone try to go and get some concessions at least twice. So they might do it after the first quarter, and they might do it at halftime, or they might do it at the end of the third quarter going into the fourth quarter, right? You think about that, then you think about television deals, you think about all of that. And those teams, like you said, it's a business. They just want to win. Point blank, period. Like, they just want to win. In Boston's case, it becomes personal when the coach is dealing with certain executives, women, right? That's when it's like, you suspended, you broke the rules. But if he would have slept with a cheerleader, it'd have been like, he'd have still been coaching, right? But you sleeping with an executive's woman, then it's an issue. Every team, pretty much most teams, it's a silent rule that the NBA player can't sleep with the cheerleaders. Every NBA player I know slept with the cheerleaders.
Hey, and so that gets into a whole nother conversation because in reality, there was a big thing when it gets into the Paula Abdul era, because a lot of people don't know that she was a cheerleader, but it gets into that era is when they started being on the page and you can't sleep with cheerleaders. And it was for a reason, because of the stigmatization of the team and the actual franchise player. It had nothing to do with morals or none of that shit. This new stuff is based on people getting pregnant and then using the players as far as a value point to keep to have to have a big life or whatever based on them sleeping with the players and getting a baby. This is something new. So this is why they had a whole nother thing going on as far as them trying to enforce another law as far as the sleeping with cheerleaders and with fans, because there's another thing that's going on with that too.
That's the point. That's what I'm saying. Like, that. Listen, Paul Abdul was one. I don't think it was in the news, but I definitely remember when I used to be in Atlanta a lot. There was a situation where one of the Atlanta cheerleaders. I remember. Matter of fact, I remember one of the Atlanta players was telling me it had got so bad that the Hawks cheerleaders had to practice in a whole different facility. They didn't even have any they couldn't have any contact with the Hawks players, because that's what was happening, right? But like I told Eugene, like, yo, that what Ime did is strictly between those executives who felt the way about it and Nia Long, right? But you and I both know if he doesn't, let's just say he'd have got fired and they'd have said for conduct detrimental to the team, they'd have left it on the low. He'd have got hired, like you said, the next day, like he's hired now, right? Because the business of basketball wants him to produce, right? It was them that put that business out.
That's actually what happened. He got fired and he got hired.
Well, he got suspended indefinitely, but Boston didn't give. They didn't make. Usually, when a team goes after a coach like that, when he's still under contract, whether it's suspended or not, usually the Boston Celtics can ask for compensation, whether it be a draft pick or a trade to be named later, right? But they didn't. So obviously, what he did to one of those executives and what he did was just they felt was just irreconcilable.
Oh,
You
I
know what I'm
thought y'all
saying?
was saying that he did get hired by the.
He did. He got hired by Brooklyn, but Boston did not make him honor the contract he was under. He was suspended indefinitely. But if you, as the Brooklyn Nets, want to hire him, they had to contact Boston first to say, "Yo, we want him." You know what I'm saying? So Boston didn't even ask for compensation for Ime Udoka. So that lets you know they were done with him regardless. And like I said, Brooklyn, yo, if you can help us win games, you know that you already know what it's gonna be. Let's bring them in, and we'll get. How many women you want tonight, Udoka? Like that's just like if you produce, that's it. That's just how life is. Like you said, if you at McDonald's, like I asked Mo didn't really answer the question, but like I asked Mo, if I create a CMOS that she could sell better than anyone else, that formula, you worried about how many women I slept with? No. She gonna be like, yo, let's sell this CMOS at the market tonight. That's just how it works.
Man, I got so much stuff on this. Wait, that's another conversation we'll have on another time. Yeah, I'm telling you, once I broke out of that conscious community thing, like it just took them. The same way I broke out of the Bible is the same way I broke out of the conscious community.
Like, you called my name.
Yeah, I called your name, Mo.
What'd you say?
Whenever I
said you ain't answer the question.
If I talk about the Bible, Mo gonna speak.
Nah, I said, Mo, when I asked you if I could create a CMOS formula that is more potent and give better results and will outsell everybody else who's selling CMOS, would you worry about the amount of women I slept with or sleeping with?
I'm not even asking. Yes, I did respond to that.
We didn't hear it because you fell off. If you remember, you came back on.
No, my laptop had died.
Right.
Yeah.
So you didn't.
I gotta tell her something. Hey, check email. Check email.
Mo's crazy, Marcus.
Hey, y'all be messing with. Hey, man,
yeah, Mo's gonna be fired, man.
This grand season. Listen, no. I did respond. My laptop died, but I responded. I said that first of all, I wouldn't know about the women because I don't get into people personal. I stay strictly business.
There you go. Capricorn stuff.
Now, if you already know how to go, and I do was, if somebody made something public and I became aware of it and I see where it may affect business or whatnot, I'll still do my business. I just don't tell people I'm doing business with you. Hey, I'll keep it real.
Hey, that's the real shit.
You ain't about to stop my dollars now.
And listen.
Hey, it is what it is.
Listen, one of the biggest lies in the world is that business isn't personal, right? But
my master teacher.
But one of the things you hear the most, and that's including Sonny Boy or you, Mo, and myself. When things happen in life that may not necessarily be fair to you, right, the first thing you'll hear is just business. Right? Because the one thing we understand that business will go on whether you like it or not. Right? And that's what I'm saying. That's why I was telling Eugene, and Eugene had to go, y'all. He had an emergency. I'll tell y'all off air. But the one thing I was telling Eugene is like, yo, when you're dealing with that type of industry like the NBA, only reason this man was even suspended was because it was an executive's woman. If it would have been the woman working at the popcorn stand that he was sleeping with behind this Nia Long's back, it would not even be an issue.
He probably was already, but they just didn't bring it up because it wasn't the issue.
That's exactly.
Yeah, that sleeping with an executive wife is disrespectful. So I would have he would have even if the guy even if they wanted to sweep that under the rug, man, you the laughing stock of the party now.
But you know what's
My
crazy about
wife
that? I'm
twerking
gonna
on
show you
some.
something. You know what's crazy about that? If think about this, if that said executive doesn't divorce this woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means she's just as much as fault as he is.
No, no, that has nothing to do with it, bro.
It does.
No,
He's
because
his pride.
hey, look, man,
Go ahead. I want to
I
hear
don't want to
this. Go
put,
ahead.
I don't want to put my company on air, but it's on the page of like when you go to these business meetings and you go to these different like dinners and everybody's up there and everybody knows everybody and you fuck this person's wife and everybody knows it, bro. We can't have that. We can't we can't have that. We got to get you out of here. You got to go somewhere else. We can't have that because this is a every year thing where we make contributions, we do different things, and yeah, we can't have that. That like no, that fucks up the whole structure.
Let me ask you though, how did how did it come out that they were sleeping together? Did a drug deal go bad? Did somebody get upset or mad? Like how did
No,
they
I mean
find out?
I don't know how they found out, but the fact that it became open is why we can't have you here.
Well, yeah,
But my question is then, okay,
no, because
this
you're
is but hold on, Mo, because this is the same. Me and you were kind of asking the same question.
okay.
I kind of know from an insider, but I would say this, right?
That's like
That's the
me
thing.
fucking my CFO's
Oh
boss.
Lord
I
Jesus.
mean my CFO's wife.
He want to
Like
Right.
sit
that is
down.
crazy. Like
Listen, we
if
with
everybody has, okay, go ahead.
but we with you on that point. My point is, right? They all you like you just said, they all know, right? Why doesn't the why doesn't the wife also get the consequence? You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Oh,
yo,
definitely. That's easy
go ahead.
because this is a relationship is a business.
I agree with
It's
that.
not it's not an emotional factor. It's
I agree with
that
that.
when you let somebody inside of the business, you're attaining the business and you're attaining the brand. So that's a big difference. And so now it's on the page of where I have somebody lesser than me, employee, that's on the page of sleeping with my wife. It messes up not only my brand, my name, that's a brand, but it messes up the umbrella corporation of brands that I have because I'm able to let a outsider just jump in and mess up what I have going on when I'm
Right.
supposed to be a structural man.
Right. But here's the thing. The other higher ups with that executive now knows that this woman was also complicit, right? So my thing is the relationship is a business, but she also stained it as well as Ime did, right? So
Hmm.
what? So that's the question. So the stain is still
Yeah.
there because you're still married.
I mean, the disciplines I have within my household is
Uh
within
oh.
my household. Now, I mean, but because it's a business, it's just like okay, bam, if it's me, you, and Mo, right?
Right. Right.
And it's on the page of where she is the president, you're the vice president. But
Okay.
I run the company, and it's on the page of like, if just because you mess up doesn't mean that I have to be on the page of just letting you go. I could be on the page of where I really need you because you're a real factor to my company.
Right.
And that's the same way as far as having a wife. She's a real factor to your company. I don't want to just let you go over something that really is detrimental to a certain extent or can be detrimental to a certain extent, but it's on the page of like, hey, we can get past this, we can actually try to build and then and move forward. But if I just let you go just because of this one incident, then I might not be able to move forward like I had planned because it's all about futuristic goals.
Right. Oh, okay. I see what. Listen, what you said, I've heard in other vehicles of business with people, like you said, right? The difference is in this one, the one thing they did do, the one thing the Boston Celtics did do perfectly is they didn't release none of the women, right? They put it all on email. They didn't. So one, the farthest they went with information was saying how one got caught was she was on the Ring app and the cameras, right? And she was making a phone call with him, and the said husband heard it, right, and went ballistic. You understand where I'm coming from? The other ones are all, everything else has been swept under the rug. My thing is like, I'm thinking like, because us men, we're territorial, but but then men of that type of echelon, when it comes to business, is like one wife is replaceable for another one at the same time, because it's like, I'm the breadwinner, I'm not so-called high value man, right? I just feel like
this is how you. If I swear, like I even tell my girl this all the time, right? If you look at the relationship like a business, you'll think differently.
100%, I agree with that.
You get what I'm saying? So
I agree with that. 100%.
Like in his situation, it's on the page of like it's not it's damaging on one end, but it's not damaging on this end enough to where I have to leave her, I have to shake her, I have to try to get because if you think about creating a business and creating a brand, it really takes time, it really takes effort, it really takes a whole lot just to get this going, and then to try to start all over with something else is hard. It's not real.
That's
you get what I'm saying? So
that's true. But
if you treat your relationship like a business, this is why, like me and my girl, we be trying to find like different people we could double date with and shit like that. But motherfuckers can't stay in a relationship long enough, and that tells me about your business aspect. Like if you was able, you only a worker, motherfucker. Because if you was able to create your own business, then you can't be on the page where I'm just jumping. Well, I started Get Fresh today, and now tomorrow I'm gonna start this and this and that, and then tomorrow no, you can't do that because it's not gonna work like that.
So ain't passionate about that thing. You can't win, Dre. You ain't getting Dre. You're not getting nowhere with Sonny today.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm not.
You told me, and Sonny, don't think I didn't catch that comment about church too.
Nah, Mo. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with him on these points, right? I do, by me being around money, and certain different corporate structures, not just the NBA, but like whether it be the music, I see both sides of the coin. I see, yo, I'm the man of power. You mess up, you gotta go. And I see his side where it's like my image. But here's the thing. The only thing that helps Sonny point in this instance is that said women weren't exposed. Because if they were, then we would see how they would how the men would have to react in public. You understand what I'm saying, Mo? Mm-hmm. But Ime is the scapegoat on this one because it's like he knew he wasn't supposed to sleep with subordinates. He knew he wasn't supposed to deal with or date anybody within this structure, right? But then when it came out, not only was he doing that, but he was doing it with executives above him, wives. It was like, all right, well, we're going to put certain things out, but we ain't going to put their names out, even though it turned out to be consensual, and some they claim weren't, right?
Oh, so he had more than one.
Yeah. So the one thing, the one they exposed, they didn't expose said person's name, but the one that they went in depth in was his personal assistant, who they said not only was helping Nia Long move to Boston, but was like his girlfriend at the same time. Was just you know what I'm saying? But when it came to his superiors' wives, right? The only information they put out on one of the instances was the one that got caught on the camera to make a phone call to him, which
Wait,
obviously that shows
so the
consent.
executive was his girlfriend?
His assistant
His assistant was his girlfriend.
was like acting like his girl was like basically like the tightest one out the bunch.
So he was messing with a few of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So Neil Long has a kid for him, right?
Yeah. A 10-year-old son, I think.
So they just basically was roommates. She
she said they were roommates.
Yeah. You can't tell me she didn't know her man was a hot boy.
Yo, you took it to New Orleans on it.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you some real shit that ain't motherfuckers ain't gonna tell you. If you been with a nigga over 10 years and y'all got kids, you roommates. You roommates.
Y'all not like an acting family?
Nope.
You roommates.
Because by law, by law.
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you some real shit.
By law, you're roommates.
You roommates, and I'm gonna tell you some real shit because people gonna tell you that soft ass shit. They're gonna be like, oh, you know, you just sometimes you hate her and sometimes you love her and sometimes this and this and that. But no, you're roommates. That's what you go through with roommates. Like if you really like, we really care about each other. We ain't got that same sparkle in our eye from the first time we met. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just love her because I'm used to her. Like that kind of shit.
Yo, this sound like a 10-year episode of Friends, right? So we're like a long season of Friends because we ain't dating.
I'm just telling you some.
No, I'm with you. I'm not disputing
that's how it really goes. When people are together for a long period of time, that's how it really go. Yeah. And then people that be separating from each other because they be tired of that shit. They think that it's something better out there. But then they realize that it ain't, and they ass end up homeless or broke or something like that. But it because they don't understand that this is a business. Relationship is a business. And I can love my business. That's the crazy part about it. People don't want to hear that, but I can love my business.
Relationships.
I can love my wife. My wife is my business. I can love that. You get what I'm saying? But people don't want to hear that kind of shit.
That's a fact. I listen.
And if I have multiple wives, just like I have multiple businesses,
hallelujah,
it's the same damn thing. I could love multiple business. I could love like like right now I do the stock. I have my hats going. I do the shirts. I have my electric thing going. I have all like a few different things, and I love it. I love it for different reasons. Right. And they all bring me the same thing. They bring me joy.
That's all they're supposed to do. That's it. No, I'm with it. I would say this. What you just said, though, it brought me to something. I was having a conversation with someone very close to me from Toronto, and that person said that they know a couple that's no longer a couple that literally hate each other. But since the cost of living is so high in Toronto, they sleep in the same bed every night. And but they're not dating.
And don't touch each other.
And don't, she said, and don't touch each other.
Oh, have y'all ever been to Utah?
I've been to Salt Lake a few times.
Okay, I lived in, so I stayed in Olden and I stayed in Provo, right? So I stayed out there for 3.5 years when I was doing lectures. This is when I was heavy in the conscious community thing. So I stayed out there and they literally will pay people to stay off the street. They'll pay you. Not only that, people will bring you in the home and you'll be having roommates. It'll be on the page of where people be making babies because they come off the street sleeping with roommates and making babies. That's how they be like forming out there. It's crazy.
Yikes. I didn't know about that in Olden. Wow. I heard
I stayed in Olden.
That's what I'm saying. I never heard about that.
I mean, no, not Olden. I stayed in Ogden.
In Ogden, but I will say that when I was in Salt Lake, you did see you seen ads that I seen this one ad saying there's no reason to be homeless, and I didn't understand what that meant. But now what you just said, it makes sense.
Man, it's crazy. So like they got a thing where they'll pay you $100 and some a day to not be homeless, or they'll give you a place to stay for where your rent is only like $300 a month.
Subsidized, yeah.
That shit is crazy. I was like, the streets is clean. Like, when coming from LA out there, it was just a whole different everything. Something I never seen before.
I seen gangs is heavy out there though.
Yeah, but they all white. It's like
Yeah,
white
that's a
Crips,
fact.
white Bloods, and white
Yep.
essays.
That's what I seen. I
And then
seen
you got a gang of
MS-13 out there.
Samoans, and all of them is Mormons.
I didn't see that. I didn't see.
That shit funny.
Yo,
That
but
shit funny.
but Mo, let me tell you something. I was
Wow.
like downtown, right, and I wasn't far from the Delta Center, and I seen some like white Bloods, and that ruined my life. Like I was like, what's going on out here? Like I was just like, what?
Yeah,
I'm
when
talking
I
about like
seen
with
that,
with the whole. I'm talking about the rag across the head, rag in the pocket, rag on the ankle, and I'm
yeah,
just like, yo, I was tripping. Yo,
I
Mo,
was
I was
laughing.
tripping.
I fell out laughing like a the motherfucker asked me where I'm from. I started laughing like, nigga, stop.
Yeah, yeah. It was
That'd crazy.
it was a rude awakening for me when I first saw it out there because it's such a lot of people don't realize, like, especially if you're from like major cities, you don't realize how a city like Salt Lake or those places are beautiful because of like the mountain landscapes in the background. So it's such a beautiful place to be when you like first experience it, right? When you look in the horizon, you see the ice cap, it's a beautiful place. But when you're walking down the street and then you look across the street and you see four white dudes with like red bandanas across their neck and they wrist and they ankle, you just looking around like, all right, I'm tripping. Like either they watching TV or I'm tripping, right? Like it's weird. It's a culture shock, but
Or you
yeah,
see some white boys saying 18th Street and they ain't even got no numbers out there.
I heard a white dude. I heard a white dude in the deli. It's not really a deli. You could say it's a deli. I was just getting a sandwich at the time, and I heard him call another one Paru. That's when I knew I was like, all right. Do they even understand what Paru is? Like, it's a street. Like, they don't even get it, man. Like,
It's the music. I'm telling you, the music is what starts everything. You got Crips and Bloods in Africa.
that's a
Like,
fact.
and then in reality, Crips and Bloods can't afford, even if they could afford to go to Africa, they ain't gonna stay. And then even if they could stay, they'd rather move somewhere out here and buy a big ass house somewhere in the south,
That's a
somewhere on
fact.
the east. You get what I'm saying? They ain't thinking about no shit like that. So really, you getting this from the music. When you go
Fact.
to when you got this shit going on in Puerto Rico where it's Crips and Bloods, where you got this shit going on in Europe where it's Crips, like this ain't where Crips and Bloods from LA really went out there. Like they ain't got no money like that.
That's a
It's
fact.
the music.
Yo, I know. Listen, I mean, the last two. Remember when All Star Weekend was in LA in 2011 or was it 10? I think it was 10. Yo, how many people? It was 10. How many people that I knew in LA? I'm talking about All Star Weekend. So many black people from Los Angeles. It was their first time going to the Beverly Center in LA, and I was like, "This your first time?" Yeah, yo, I live in Compton. I live in Washington. I'm like, "This your first time
Yeah.
coming to the Beverly Center?" It was
It's a
like,
lot of
yeah.
places. Man, I stay in LA. It's a lot of places I ain't been.
That's a fact, and I tell people that all the time. Like, LA is such. First of all, Los Angeles
And
County.
it's not even big though. Like the in reality, the like it's broken up. It's LA is big, but it's broken up in a bunch of cities
Right,
that's really LA anyway.
right.
Like
That's how I feel like.
I walk across the like I'm on 88th in Central.
Oh
I
yeah, you
walk
in the
across the
hood.
street. I'm in Watts. I
That's a
walk down
fact.
the street like I'm in the East Side. LA. You know what I'm saying? I walk down the street to on the other side of Broadway. I'm on the West Side. Like man, come on, this is all the same.
Yo, I dated this Mexican woman back in the day, right? And she had a quinceañera for her daughter. I was on 88th and Beach, bro. I was in the dead smack. Yo, all essays, bro. I was like, yo, get me back to Jersey now, goddamn. Like, yo, that was like the weirdest birthday party I've ever been to in my life, bro. My man walked up to me in that gate, the revolver tucked in his waist, the tat from his neck to his ankle. Yo,
Yeah,
People don't know,
it's
man. People don't know.
that, hey,
LA.
and that's another thing too with the rap music, right? So
But
it got the essays different. So before the essays used to be like the old school essays, they hate blacks, so
They hated us.
they used to try to train them into being racist and shit like that because of the music. Like you don't have like no slow jams and shit like that. Everybody's growing up on hip hop. So that's basically your grandparents, your parents
Hmm.
that's your kids is gonna be listening to hip hop. So all they know is the blood, the crip, the this and this and that. Out here you got essays that splitting up like that. You got essays that say cuz, you got essays that say blood that
That's a
hang
fact.
with different ones. Like your like your Florences be hanging with the Bloods. They hang with the Swan. You got
Word.
your 18th Streets. They hang with the Hoovers. They hang with, you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
It's a difference.
That's the one thing about like I don't you know better than me, but when you're in Watts, right, where Jordan Downs is at, yo, what street that's on where Jordan Downs Projects is at?
On Imperial.
On Imperial, right? Yo,
Wait,
driving.
Jordan Down? No, no, the Jordan Downs is on 103rd.
All right, so Jordan Downs Projects, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I remember driving down there with the Mexican chick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And turn one corner, all red, right? I'm talking about went to the light, turned the next corner, all blue. I was like, yo, like it was the weirdest
Yeah,
thing ever in my life because at that time you talking about that was what let's say that was what 2000.
because
Let's say
they got the bishops right next to them.
yeah,
So
and yo, it was what let's say 2010, and it was just like a rude awakening for me, right? Because a lot of people you know this, but a lot of people that watch Training Day that's not from LA, right? They think that dead end block that the jungle, they think that's like a
I was
big
in the
street,
jungle.
right? They think that's a big street, but that's not even a long
No, the
street, right?
jungles is big. That was a little street.
That
All
I'm
of
talking about
yeah.
in that I'm talking about that dead end street though is it made it the way the way Anton Fuqua or whoever shot that movie shot it made it look like it was a long drive into that because it's a dead end block, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget I was out there with them because she like you said one of her cousins was raised out there, so he became a blood even though he was essay, right? And and we was just sitting out there and this dude was like, yo, you ain't gonna be in no house. If you gonna hang with us, you gotta hang out. You gotta feel how it feel to be never knowing like, when your life is, you know what I'm saying? And I would talk to him for like 2 hours. It was one of the best conversations I ever had. He said, you ever been to high school and you're in the baddest chick in the school, live in a neighborhood that you can't even go in, and then you tell her, yo, meet me at the what he said, the gas station, because that's the only neutral ground. Yo, he was telling me so much wild stuff about that time, bro. He was like, yo, this is why we the way we are. It was just the weirdest thing, man. Like he said, some of us can, like he said, yo, growing up, some of us couldn't even go a 10 block radius. Some of us couldn't go a 6 block radius. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand the dynamic of it, how it is out there, man. A lot of people. See, you know me, I play it. I every time I go there, I at least go to the hood once. I don't be obviously flossing and tossing, but I'll go there at least once. I might go to Compton. I might go because even when I work out there, I work out in Metroflex in Long Beach, but I think they consider that Mission Hill. And I go to Iron Addicts, and I go to some spots in the hood, and yo, it's just a total different dynamic, man. You see it, right? It's
Hey,
now, mind
but
you, go ahead.
what I was gonna say what's so crazy is I was thinking of it from outsider's point of view. Like if the best thing to do would be to know everybody from, I mean, not everybody from from the hood, but like know specific people from different hoods, right? But the fucked up part about it, I mean, the messed up part about it is if you know different people from different hoods, and like say you are out of town and you come out here and you know different people from different hoods, and you mention somebody from certain hoods, niggas might start looking at
Facts,
you different.
That's a fact, though.
But it's a point that you should know different niggas from different hoods. But it's kind of like an oxymoron. But it
No, I
that
understand. Listen, that's how I played in Chicago, though. I'm the same way in Chicago. I know I can't be saying certain names on one side and it's a certain name on this side. Same thing with LA. If I'm in the bottoms, you know what I'm saying? I can't say certain names there. If I'm like you say, if you in the jungle, certain names can be said there. If you in uh uh um
like right
shit,
now, like you got the big thing is niggas is killing each other from each other hood.
that's a
So
fact.
it's like you could be like, oh, like nigga, I'm from West Side Hustlers. Oh, woo woo. Oh yeah, yeah. Nigga, we gonna get this nigga.
That's a fact. But listen, it's one of those things though. If you're not out there enough, and if you're not really like you said connected with family or people that can always keep you abreast, yo, stay in West Hollywood, stay in the tour. Even though West Hollywood is weird, but stay in the tourist area because a lot of those places, bro, you fool. You know, especially if you like on some like, see over here in the hood, especially in the Northeast, you could be fooled at any given time. Don't get it twisted. But it seemed like even the dude that's trying to kill you is on some fly stuff. You know, in LA, people dress down. People ain't always trying to flaws, because like you said, at any given time, it's on site. You know, I play it, but like I said, with me, I show love to everybody. You know, and I respect. You know, one thing I learned, and it had nothing to do with LA, but I learned that in Atlanta. Like my man used to always tell me, he said, "Dre, you down here too much, but they don't want that New York shit down here." He used to always tell me they don't want that New York shit down here, bro. He used to always say that we don't want that New York shit down. And this was right when Katrina happened, so Mo could tell you when Katrina happened, half of New Orleans went to Atlanta and half of New Orleans went to Houston,
Houston.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yo, my man, I remember riding in the car in Atlanta, my man Chilio, he's like, Dre, you the smartest dude I know, a real Capricorn. All you want is women and money. He said, but they don't want that New York shit down here. He used to always say that. He said, they don't want that. Yo, man, they don't want that down here, bro. He said, they do not like that. And you teach yourself, you know what I'm saying? You teach yourself how to talk, maneuver. You know what I'm saying? I could imitate an Atlanta dude to this day. Like if I was still down there, I know how to talk like them, everything. Because you just learn how to move around the vultures, right? A lot of people don't have that same dynamic, but you know, it's something that if you're gonna be in the mix, you gotta know. So, but yeah, I mean, you are resident West Coaster, so we use you as I would never. You are on star if we in the hood and we lost. Like, yo, hit Marcus up. Yo, hit him up, yo. Yo, I'm on Florence and Normandy, yo. Hit that man up.
Hey, they changed La Brea. It's Obama now.
I did not know they changed La Brea to Obama. When
Hmm
how recent is that? Or am I late? Or maybe I
Like
just
I think during the pandemic or somewhere around that
Yo, I
time.
am super late then, because I was over there even after that. And I maybe does it still say La Brea and then Obama under it, or say
Yeah,
like, all right, then that's
like
why.
it was like going into it.
Oh, that's why I was about to say, because you know that little areas where I be at. I be at the little, the little shopping areas in Fairfax, La Brea, and that that or I'll be on the lower end of Vine before Vine intersects Sunset, that area. So I'll be in that area because it's like it's a lot like New York, right? You know, the movie theaters and you got your fast food restaurants, you got your gyms over there. So when I'm in that area, I'll be nice and
You
tight in
ever you ever
that
been
little.
to the Silent Club?
Where's that at?
So on La Brea, I mean not La Brea, at Leimert Park.
Oh,
I,
that's the
I
hood though, Lamerck, the hood though.
Yeah, look. So in the Leimert Park area, right? You got the clubs over there with the silent club. So when you go in, you don't hear no music or nothing,
Yeah,
but you
you
see
put the
crowds of
earphones on,
people.
right?
Yeah, you put the earphones on, and they got like three different DJs. And
Mm,
so, like on the headphones, they have the different stations you could put on, like one, two, or three.
mm-hmm,
And then so each one you put it on is a different DJ.
Mhm.
And so you'll see people dancing. It's crazy because when you take the headphones off, you don't hear nothing. Like you could talk to people regular now with the headphones off.
I've been to one. I just didn't been to one. I didn't go to any in LA. I went to one in Philadelphia one time, but they only had two channels, like two DJs that you could switch to. But both of them was playing like similar hip hop. So it's like people still like in that same thing. I seen one little joint on it on YouTube where they were showing like where you be in that room or be in the club and people have like multiple channels. So it seemed like everyone's dancing off beat because everyone has their own
Yeah,
little,
yeah, yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Have
yeah.
their own little thing going. But I didn't see, and like I said, I didn't even think Leimert Park would have something like that though. Cause you know,
Man, he
Leimert
got
is
all kinds of stuff. It's so much stuff I could tell you, but I have to tell you off a lot.
yeah. I won't tell you.
But
Don't tell me online, but yeah, I ain't. But like
yeah,
I said, I ain't thinking Leimert Park would have that type of joint going
but
on. Cause
aside from that, like Seti came down here too.
yeah,
Yeah, so me and my this is when we was into the contest that whole little thing. So we was trying to get everybody down there.
mm,
This is with my brother Polite stage and all
right.
that stuff. So everybody that was coming down there, they was coming in over there and
Mm.
meeting us down that way.
Okay, what you call still down there too though? What's my man name? Man, A Rashid, right? Ain't he still in that area?
I haven't seen him.
Uh, I thought he was still down there. Last time I was in LA, I saw him. I saw him over in that. I think he was in. I think he was in Watts. I thought I saw him around there. He was over there. I don't know where exactly the area
You
because
you
I've been
know
looking to
who
go.
you do be having over there? What's your boy, the Muslim dude? He got popular.
Oh,
Uh,
that goofy. You talking about RZA
he from
Islam?
yeah, he from Compton, but he
Yeah,
be
bro.
he be over there.
Yo, man, RZA Islam.
Matter of fact, he just did a Instagram not too long ago with the McDonald's right there, um, right there by Lamert.
Oh, word.
hmm Where
I'm
he was basically talking about how bad the meat is and how bad the food is.
Yeah, that's his thing. He's a health fanatic. I'm gonna be back out there soon though. Like I said, I'm about to go out there and really like get into like interviewing some women out there that I know. Talk about dating in Los Angeles. I'm about to go to Atlanta and do that as well. I'm gonna go to but like I'm really gonna take it another level. I might get away in the next 2 months. I might go to Amsterdam for 2 days and do it. But I'm gonna definitely get to LA. Just go to Hollywood and go to the hood. I'm gonna pick one hood. That's
Man,
it.
those man,
Man, hell no! I
you
wouldn't go to none of these hoods.
Well,
Fuck
when I
that
say
you
the
shit.
know
hood, I'm not. I'm talking about outside of Hollywood. I'm
you
just
must
saying.
have a you must have a hookup on tickets. Them flights expensive.
Yeah, I got a companion pass, Mo.
The hell,
Well, I go through Hoppers.
Yeah,
companion.
yeah, I got a companion
Man,
Hoppers,
pass.
Hoppers, yeah, Hoppers is
man,
cheap.
holiday, man, them tickets expensive. I was trying to go home. I'm gonna have to
No, not
drive.
Yeah,
holiday.
let me tell
Hoppers.
you like
It's
this,
called
I'm gonna
Mo.
have,
Hoppers.
I'm
Let me
gonna
tell
have
you
to
like this,
drive.
Mo. How much you think I paid to go to Stockholm in July?
I don't even want to know. I'm
There
mad.
you go. So companion passes. Don't get it twisted. I gotta pay certain people. I gotta pay that man who put me on his
I
companion pass
know.
a certain amount of money a year. But I can just tell him right now, yo, put me on this flight. Boom, and I'm there.
Hey,
I'm
Mo.
waiting like a
I've
mug.
I've never paid a round trip ticket for more than $500 ever, and I took over 30 flights.
Yeah, but this holiday season there are more. My round trip ticket usually be like three something. My ticket to go home, if I get a ticket to go home, that ticket is like six something right now. I'm mad as hell. I'm
I'll
gonna have
tell
to
you like
drive.
this: if I
Yeah,
decide to go to Paris,
I'm not
and
paying that.
if I go to Paris in 2 weeks, my round trip ticket, first class would be like $46.
What?
Facts.
You know why,
And then
Brandon?
Mo, you should be knowing this stuff already because you the businesswoman right now. You should know that you could be using this as a write-off for your business.
Look,
There
you
you
little
go, Mo.
peanut. I already know that part.
She said,
I
I,
learned this from you. You my master teacher.
there you
listen,
go. Write
I
everything off,
know.
right?
I know what you can do. What I'm saying is that the tickets are expensive this year. Like I'm looking right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Even
It's no
better.
joke.
Ticket
It's
is
no joke.
400, and if I go home for the holidays, the ticket is $400. I'm used to paying like two something. I'm
Mo,
not
you
trying to
better
get there.
drive from Sweet Yellow Corn, South Carolina, New Orleans, girl. You better get behind that wheel and go to see
But
your
you see
family.
the but do you see the thing about it is right. So
The,
I would
the,
battle this because I would say, okay, if
Hmm.
my flight, well, it went down. It was six something the other day.
Yeah, it's
If
ridiculous.
if my flight is gonna cost me 450 and my truck is gonna cost me 300, I'm buying the flight for 450 because I'm gonna spend the rest
I
of the
feel.
money.
Oh, you say
I'm
you
gonna
would rent
spend
a
the rest of
car?
the money in food.
You
hey
would rent
Mo,
a
Mo,
you would rent
Mo,
a
Mo,
car?
Mo,
Now I'm gonna drive
Mo.
a truck, huh?
Hmm.
Now this is what you would tell me in class, right?
Yeah.
I would use my business credit card
Uh
to
oh.
be able to pay for everything, pay for my flight,
Uh
He
pay
make
oh.
me
for my
sick.
food, and pay for all of those things and write it off as a tax
He make me
expense.
sick. He make me sick. I swear.
Yo, you don't
Get her,
create you
Sonny.
created your
Get her.
own. He created his own Frankenstein. Yo, you created your own
Yeah.
Frankenstein, Mo.
You see how he did that though?
Yo, he
Yeah,
recited
he
you to you.
good.
Hey, Brandon, man, what's up with the women in Chicago, bro? Man, what's going on, man?
Bro, they start to cover up. It's getting a little nippy out here. You know, they start to put clothes on, going
All
back
right.
inside.
I know you making house calls there, Jack.
Man, like
Hey,
Uber, like
oh
Uber.
Brandon, hey Brandon, did you get into the HUDI?
Nah, dude, honestly, I've been focused. I've been looking at PEs and stuff like that, making sure everything's coming back to normalcy. That's what I'm
Is that
trying to
my
gauge.
car?
I think
Wait,
that's your
you
car,
said
bro.
you've been looking at what,
You
Brandon?
in the hood, boy. You better go out and get that
Man, you better
car.
right. You better check it. They taking your catalytic converter right now.
Yes.
He said, "Take it,
Better
Cadillac
check that for
Yo,
converter."
real.
there's a car in my hood driving around. It's a white Mercedes G wagon going around taking people's
Oh,
catalytic converter, bro. Tell a whole truth. I tell you no lie. I'm gonna send it to y'all in the chat when I get off. I'm telling you.
$600.
I wish I say the video, but like my neighbor from like cross street, like 3 houses down, like I think it was last Thursday, we seen somebody on camera going underneath his car, and then like 20 minutes later, like leaving with like something heavy. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what the hell is he digging for? Like underneath his car? Like, what did he lose for that long? I was like, oh shit, he just stole his catalytic converter. Sure enough, the next day, I think Friday when I got back, car came back home loud as hell. I was like, now you got a Ferrari.
Yeah. Yo, these dudes out here, boy. It's always a new hustle, man. It's always something new they're gonna get you with, bro. It's
Always.
like, yo, it's crazy, man. Like how we see everything now has gone full fledged. When, yo, it's kind of like the government experimented with us with the stimulus and all that money, and then it's like, what did you think the person was gonna do once that money ran out? Especially people who never was used to making money, right? They were just used to like scrambling. And then you put this money in their hand, like they became monsters. Like they like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you turn that faucet off, Jack. It's like it's Babylon outside. I can imagine Chicago, bro. I can imagine the shot right now.
Like what's crazy is about it, like they'll tell all the stories about like shooting, but you don't want to hear like any other thing on any other race. Like I had to read something.
Ain't that crazy?
Like and I've been thinking about this for years, and like I've been telling my partners this. I'm like, bro, black people ain't nothing but entertainment for a lot of
We are. We're fodder. We're fodder for the fire, bro.
basically,
Really.
and it's sad to
Whoa.
see that like bro, like really, this. I read something in a paper the other day, like somewhere in Montana where a guy killed everybody in the house, even like a 3-year-old baby. But that's not
Yo.
being publicized on the news because his wife cooked something, undercooked something. I was like, I think that deserves to be on the news versus
Right.
another drive-by shooting or something. Like, come on, switch it up. But
I mean,
like
and
you
then you
said,
think about it. If you think about it, everyone I know that has never been to Chicago but visited Chicago, they all say the same thing. Yo, it's the one of the most beautiful cities in America I've ever seen.
that's
They talk
facts.
about how clean
It's
it
gorgeous.
is.
It is.
You know, even in the hood, me and Brand talked about this before. If you look at the hood, even the houses in the hood of Chicago are gorgeous. Like if someone had a gang of money that wanted to reinvest in their hood like that, and just
Yep.
like, yo, those houses, because you know they're Puritan homes, so those
Right.
cobblestone houses, those limestone houses, people don't even,
Yep.
the hood houses are built like fortresses. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Hey,
yo,
this could be a real deep conversation to unpack, to be honest, because it's a bunch of layers to this right
well, yeah,
here.
there's all these conversations that we always end up in is super layered because we're one of the few of us that try to be solution based, right? So and you know, when anything we do that's solution based, you got to get to the, like I always say, everything has an origin, right? Every problem will have an origin, and those each is so many layers to peel back, right? Like it's like Chicago is one of those cities that is a microcosm of the United States. It's one of the most racially segregated cities, but it's also one of the most financially just powerful cities, right? And it's literally America because it's hoods, it's neighborhoods divided by actual race and ethnicity, and then it's neighborhoods divided by class and wealth, and then it's neighborhoods just us, right? Just scattered, which is not really a huge section, but think about it. The Polacks are out there, the Scottish are out there, the Irish are out there, right? Then you got an Asian thriving community now, right? And then you got us out there. And you see it just being downtown, right? So Chicago is a microcosm to what America is, right? Similar to how Atlanta is, like where you could drive down the street and see three Bentleys and then look across the street and see a homeless man, black man just shaking.
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah, but
the,
you can see that anywhere though.
but not
Like
on the
literally,
scale of those major cities that give you the outlook of America, right? Like even before
yeah. And any scale, if you go to LA, it's like that. If
LA
you
is a
go to New
major
York,
city.
I'm talking about all the major cities.
I'm
If you
not
go
talking
to
about the
any
major cities, but I'm saying is Chicago. I'm saying major cities. So let's just say Chicago, LA,
mhm,
Atlanta, Miami,
New York,
Philadelphia, right? New York is a metropolis, right? New York and LA are metropolises. Chicago's a huge city. Houston, right? Houston is what, the third largest city in America, right? So
well
when
then
you
Georgia, Atlanta wouldn't count because everybody out there is black. So
no,
somebody's gonna be doing
blacks,
good and
I
somebody's
think,
gonna be doing bad.
but that's what I'm saying. Microcosm to macrocosm. Some people, so there's a racial dot map, right? So blacks are plastered in, like you said, LA, meaning SoCal, Northeast, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and that's Western Pennsylvania. I mean, Eastern Pennsylvania, and Washington D.C., which I think we're no longer the majority in that city, in that area no more. North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and like you said, Georgia, Northern Florida, and what else? Are we heavy in Alabama still now? I don't know. But outside of that, a lot of people who don't live in these major cities don't see, like there's a lot of white people in America that really just don't know black people, right? And it's a lot of these people don't get privy to understanding that dynamic, right? Of seeing those things all in one picture, right? I'll
Well,
never forget.
that's because that deals with the majority of them because it's more white people than
A hundred
black people.
percent, and that's why.
And
That's
so this
why.
is why a lot of them really don't understand them because a lot of them never even seen a black person in real life.
And that's
And a
my
lot of
point.
people don't want to hear that, but they don't understand. Like you got people in North Dakota and places that black people never been. You
Right.
know, Montana and shit like that.
And that's my point. Is like a lot of them don't see the they don't see both sides of the spectrum. So they don't see the outside of television, they never gonna see like the successful version of us. And on the other side of the coin, outside of television, they don't see it on the lowest scale. And so what happens is if they're visiting a city like this or major cities and they get that one snapshot in their mind, that's America, right? Like in Chicago, even before we seen the financial divide happen in the early 2000s, started where it started to move exponentially to where it is now. You know, Chicago is just one of those cities where you saw it, and Atlanta was for me too. But I would say like even LA, right? So, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, Sonny. Like one of the people that I was cool with in LA when I first started venturing over there in like '06, and where I would just be over there for like long amounts of time, they used to be like, yo, as long as you're on the name streets in this area, then you good. But then when you get into the higher number streets, welcome to the hood, right? So you could correct me if I'm wrong about that. Like they'll say, like if you're like on Third and La Brea, I'm just giving you
I
an
mean,
example.
to be honest, every street got a gang. But some are bigger than others and some aren't. But every street got a gang.
I hear
So
that.
yeah, so
So,
it's just
and that's true. That's true. I mean, you would know better than me than that, but I remember that person from LA told me who happened to be in a gang. It's like, yo,
so
you
you got people that they grandmamas is gang members. They
100%.
granddad, you know,
100%.
crazy shit.
I never met when I used to really like be in my little LA dating women phase in the early 2000s. I never met a black or Spanish woman out there, whether they were in the gang or not, that their immediate family was
family
not
was
in the
not.
gang. You know what I'm
You know what
saying?
I'm saying?
Why am I
Why
getting
am I getting
feedback?
feedback?
I don't know.
Y'all hear that, right?
Yeah. Well, we heard it. It's gone now. Where you go? Man, y'all done talked about a million things. What's up, Jonathan?
Government. What's going on?
Now, what did you just say you was into?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh,
But
you
yeah,
said it.
Oh,
sorry about that. But yeah, that I never met one that wasn't. Never. Never. Like, so if I met a black woman or a Spanish woman, she wasn't in it, but she definitely was affiliated, right? And so it's a dynamic that a lot of people don't get privy to in that. And like I say, all of it for me, I use all of it for like my own edification and learning how to just move out there. You know what I'm saying? Like I use it like that. I just try to make sure that I'm always aware of my surroundings. So if I'm in the shy, I know how to move in the shy. I know how to wear my hat. I know what language that I have to use. You know, kind of get rid of this Northeast accent a little bit instead of saying mango man. You know, nah, bro. You know, I know how to flip that quick. If I'm in LA, I know certain things I gotta say. You know, same thing with Atlanta. You know, you just you and yo, like I always tell Mo, like Mo, ain't no place on the world different than New Orleans. Like if you don't know how to speak that, you don't even know what they
No
talking about. Y'all have y'all own. It's not even
way.
Ebonics. It's just the way y'all pronounce things.
Yeah.
I remember, hey, yo, Brandon. I remember I was trying to talk to this chick down there, and I got lost for like 15 minutes on the word father because she said my father, and I'm like, what,
My
my
father.
father? I'm like, yo, father, my father. And I'm
You're
like,
not gonna be. You're not gonna talk about us
no, I'm not talking about y'all in a bad
live.
way. I'm not talking about y'all in a bad way. But yo, I'm telling you, she like my father. I'm like, who? My father. Yo, it
but
took me.
you knew she was, you know what she was talking about
No, I
though.
didn't.
When I
Come
first
on now.
no,
I
a
didn't.
lot of times because we speak so fast and all the words run together. When I
Right.
when I first departed for college, man, I used to have a hard time to understand why they didn't understand me. I used to
I'm
be like,
telling
I
you.
know I just said that. Why I gotta repeat it?
And I can relate that. I can still relate to that because I got uncles from the South who still had like that that Arkansas twang who talk
Yes.
real fast, and I'd be like, "What? You want some
Yes.
what? Oh, you want something to eat? All right, why you say that? And blah blah blah. I done told you, fool. Like, okay, whatever.
Yo,
Let's go grab something to eat.
they are like that. Yo, Brandon, yo, because you know, the black people in Chicago either came from Mississippi, Alabama, or
Louisiana.
Arkansas.
Yep.
So you get a mix of that down there. You get a mix. Like you could tell if you meet someone out in our age, if their mom and dad came from specific, because
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a fact. That's a
Yep.
fact.
some
That's
of them
so
have
true.
that, some of them have that serious Southern, even though they got the Chicago accent, but they have this. One or two words
Wouldn't
would be
drag.
so. I'm telling you,
That's
like Brandon tell you, like there's some people in Chicago that can't say now to say that. They be like nah. They be like
exactly,
nah. Exactly.
exactly.
You know what I'm
They're
saying?
like they can't like you know what they mean, but they can't say it correctly.
Yeah.
Like
They be like
like
nah.
I was like, bro, it's never mind. He's like, nah. I'm like, bro, okay, whatever. All right, you ain't go to school.
Yeah. They
Well, you
can't say
fine.
now. They can't. They can't say now. They be like nah.
I was like, all right.
Yo, I'm there right now. I'm like,
Right.
yo.
But no, I heard what you said, Drake. Talk about you gonna go to different hoods and do interviews. Man, if you don't sit still,
Nah, I'm
if you don't, if you
I'm
a
doing
Zoom call, if you
yeah,
do
but
Zooms,
I'm doing the Lord's work. I'm interviewing women. I ain't interviewing no men.
all right,
It ain't none about these dudes that I'm intrigued about at this point in my life, brother. I'm doing the work of the Lord, right? I'm trying to bring the school to its heights, but you know, it's you know, because I got so much good feedback from when I interviewed the chick from Stockholm. I want to really like I'm gonna just take it worldwide. But like I say, it's gonna be Amsterdam. It's gonna be Paris. It's gonna be London. It's gonna be. I'm gonna go back to Stockholm and do it. It's gonna be Los Angeles. It's gonna be Chicago. You know what I'm saying? But Chicago, I'm not leaving anything past State Streets. You know what I'm saying? So anywhere past the Magnificent Mile, Jack. So you
man.
know me, I'm playing it. I ain't got nothing to prove, man. Shoot, I got life to live, man. I got wives to feed. I got life to live, bro. I ain't gonna be in the middle of no no crossfire doing it. You better believe that.
And I know y'all spoke about what happened to that rapper already, right?
Mm.
Nah, I was going to, but Eugene,
Yeah.
my man Eugene, had an emergency out of nowhere. He had texted me while we were on. But
Okay.
matter of fact, if y'all free tomorrow, I really want to talk about that. If y'all
Okay.
free tomorrow, let's all get together and talk about that. I want to take y'all point of view on that. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
All right.
still, we don't have the full information on what happened, but
Right.
I mean, that's sad, man. That's sad, bro. 28
You
years old, sad, bro.
wait, who you
Yeah.
talking about?
I guess he's talking about Offset, right?
Yeah.
No,
I mean, take off,
take
take
off.
off. I meant,
Take
I
off.
keep
Take
saying,
off. Yeah.
yeah, take
He
off.
got killed by his cousin.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, it was on accident.
It was an accident, which is even more ironic.
Yeah, they got a bunch of videos out right now. Cause we in the camera era. You know, everybody filming everything, especially when you got celebrities around. So you got a bunch of videos all over the place. But you got somebody that allegedly sold the video to TMZ, and that's when they put that out there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
before that, you had uh, academics with his investigation on it. That was I was watching that. That was hilarious.
Yo, how's academics? The way he moves, man. I'm surprised they ain't touch him. And man, let me take that back. I don't wish that on that corny nigga.
I
But
mean, see, this is the thing, right? The man, that's why before my phone had cut out because people was calling, but I wanted to get into what we was talking about earlier as far as blacks entertainment and stuff like that. But in this day and age, that's not what's real. Like, you know what I'm saying? People be following, like young people follow that rap shit, and that's why they start living that, trying to live that life on these streets.
100%.
Like whether it's this gay shit, whether it's
Oh
they
man.
look at all that shit. I mean, uh, hum
Don't worry about it. We got you.
humblephobia.
Oh man. Yo, you heard
Hey,
what he said,
hey,
Brandon?
Sonny, save some of that for tomorrow, bro. We're gonna do it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll do
you
it
know what
tomorrow,
I'm
bro. But
saying?
we get what you're saying. Listen, like I said, I think no, when we did the show on incels, like I was saying, you don't see love and carpentry, right? You see love and hip hop. So they're gonna emulate the music and the lifestyle that they think gives them the best chance to thrive, right? That's just like we emulate who we emulate. We emulate what we think is
Nah, I get even deeper than that. That's why I said like this
Well,
is
that
I wanted to get on that, but I get deeper on that because it's gonna be something that people ain't gonna want to really hear. But
you gotta
it's
do a
part of it's
presentation then,
but it's
bro.
part of what your show does. I mean, what your show part of your audience anyway. Because to me, like right, if we was on this page, right, if uh if a man, or we'll say elevators, men build elevators,
Right,
and if every elevator that a man built, everybody kept falling on it or it kept breaking, right?
right,
They would eventually say, well, who is doing this? And say if men wasn't good at it, it was women that were good at building elevators. They would say, hey, why don't you stop trying to build the elevators and be on the page of, hey, let these women who are capable of building these elevators
right.
thrive and do this so we can survive and go up and down,
Mm,
right?
mm,
So now when it comes to real life situations, it's on the page of who are raising the people that are shooting up schools, who are raising the people that are committing the most murders or the most heinous crimes
mm,
out of the least populated community in the whole United States.
right.
Who are raising these people? Who are raising the people that are going to jail at a high rate, more than I mean, almost to a 46% rate of everybody else when we're at 12% in the whole United States?
Mm,
Who's raising it? Is it single dads? Are single dads raising these men to be like this?
mm.
Sonny,
It,
Well,
don't
I'm
you
gonna
start
be.
no shit tonight. I'm telling you right now.
I'm
I'm
listening.
not
I'm letting
starting no
him.
shit. I'm
You
just asking a question, and
you
I never even said nothing
you
against
better not
nobody.
you
I'm
better
going
not
against
start
the
no.
men tonight. I'm going against the
Hey,
men
Okay,
tonight.
hey, Sonny,
you
He
better
going.
be going against the men.
Is it
Sonny,
single
Sonny,
dads?
Sonny.
Sonny.
What's up?
No,
You
Mo
got.
said don't start no shit. That's hilarious.
Listen. I'm just gonna say, Sonny, put a whole presentation on it, and let's review
I
it.
could freestyle this. This is
No, we don't need
crazy.
to freestyle it. I want to see you go all the way into them layers. So put that presentation in on it so we can all get up here and look at it and see everything you're saying
Full context.
in such a structure, and also full context that it's a no-brainer for us to like, because even if you freestyle it, we're gonna have to catch up. But if you put the full presentation, we can always go back and forth and look at it. And I want to see it. I want to see I want you to go to the ocean floor deep on everything you're saying, so we could learn, man. We learn from each other, man. You know how many times I don't stole Brandon's line,
No, I mean, but
sitting with my
I
pad
mean
and pen, taking it all in, bro.
that kind of stuff that goes into the Lyndon B. Johnson era, and then going
No,
into
listen, go
the
all the
whole
way in. That go all the way in.
Margaret
That's
Sanger.
go
But
all the way in.
that's not something that the women is going to want to be hearing, though.
Well,
Not the
listen,
black women.
listen.
I don't
You
think
can't be
it.
worried about that.
You could do your presentation, but
We'll make sure.
I
We'll
think
make
that
sure Mo.
I'm definitely not good at
We'll
presentation.
make sure
I'm
Mo
more
boyfriend
good.
is there that night. So at least you have one woman
Oh
that can.
shit.
One
Here you
woman
go.
can't say nothing. Mo man to be there to discipline her. She act up, and then you'll be free
listen,
reign, man.
I
You know what I'm
think
saying?
I just think it'd be a. I just think that
Hmm.
if the
Shoulders.
if see, you know what I think? I think that men should have been able to have babies too. Then there won't be no back and forth point fingers. That's what I think it should have been. It should have been interchangeably.
Mo,
Both of
please.
because we're the ones that have to push out these babies, and regardless if that man is they'll stay or not, we still gonna have the have the finger pointed at us.
I
Mo,
agree with you, Mo.
you're taking
No,
all the fun out of being a
Be
deadbeat
quiet,
dad. You're
Drake.
taking all the fun out of being a deadbeat
Hey,
dad.
Mo, I agree with you because I really want to just sit my ass at home and just lay up and watch TV all day while she go work.
Sonny, Sonny, stop.
I'm gonna sit up.
Sonny having mic problems, bro. He about to go.
Hold up.
Sonny, don't do that. What
He
did Mo
about to
say?
mic-
Don't
Yo,
start nothing.
Sonny going
That
in.
is my shit.
Yo, listen, hey Brandon, you missed it though.
We
Sonny,
equal.
listen, Brandon, Sonny already warned us. He had the Henny and blunt on him, so he had full blast right now, boy. He like an uncle at a barbershop. You ain't gonna stop him right now, Jack. He gonna
Sonny,
go all the way in.
If you were able to do that, you wouldn't even like it, so it doesn't matter.
You're
If
right.
I was look, how about this? If I was able to do that, I would love to do that because it would be a difference. If you're able to have a bunch of babies by this one person, right? This one person, then this means you have a dedication, you have a bond with this one person. But when you start sleeping around with a bunch of people at a young age because it's taught to you to be free and experience yourself, girl, you could be open, you equal just like men, because men sleep around and all this whole crazy stuff that they preaching now, it's on the page and you use goods by the time somebody come up. Like, how would you feel if it was a hamburger that was chewed on and it was on the floor? Would you want to pick that up? No, you would rather have the fresh hamburger that no one has ever touched or put a hand on or bit on. Why is it on the page of where we have to be forced into eating that hamburger that's on the ground? I don't want that.
So we got to come up with another analogy. He said a hamburger to be chewed on and left on the floor.
Man,
Why did the scenario?
Yo, that Henny is real. I would say, Mo, I'm just gonna say I'm glad we don't have kids, man, because it takes all the fun out of me dodging these women once I get them pregnant. So I don't want to have kids. But I would say that listen, Sonny, it's the blood. Try your even if a presentation is not your thing, give yourself an hour capsule to express it. And yo, man, I want to hear it, man. Just give yourself an hour. Even if you take notes and you do it like that on an orator type basis, instead of like doing PowerPoint or doing any type of like references, yo, give yourself an hour, time yourself, and you know, like one day when you have the time, you know, get everything down on paper and then time yourself and yo, give a full presentation on it. Cause I you know, listen, we're gonna make sure Mo Man is in the building, so she'll be quiet. She'll be too busy rubbing his feet with Crisco butter and stuff like that. So she'll be quiet. He ain't gonna have no back talk when she's in his presence. So
I'm just saying we're gonna have these conversations about these women that's doing whatever Sonny just said. Then we need to have the conversation about the women who's also doing the opposite of that.
Yeah, Mo's having mic problems. We are going to we're gonna keep these conversations going, and you know.
No, but Mo, hey, look, when you talk about these, because a lot of women say this, right? When you talk about these things, right, or these women that's out there, where they at? And so this way you can broadcast this because there's a lot of men that don't get women, let alone have sex. There's a lot of men that don't get women at all. So when you start talking about all these good women that's looking for these type of men, where are they at? So these men can look for these women.
I don't think that those men are attracted to those type of women.
Did y'all show?
Are you serious?
Did y'all see the show?
Hold on. Mm-hmm. Let me say it real
telling
quick. You didn't hear what I said.
I heard.
There are men that don't get. Well, I'm not talking about the sex. There are men that don't get women at all. And then when you start talking about what they're attracted to, men don't think like that. They don't get none at all.
Yeah, I did a whole. Did y'all see the show I did on incels?
Yes, I heard it.
Then, yo, if you seen that show, then we show like Brent, like Marcus said, there's men who don't have access to women or sex.
You know what I think? I think the men, these particular men and women, are not approaching one another because they think it, one thinking that the other got somebody and the other one thinking the other one got somebody.
Nah, that's fantastical. But
And
I will
I'm
say
telling
this.
you, I'm telling
I would say
you.
this, Mo. How about this? How about this then? Tomorrow, forget takeoff. Forget takeoff. Forget takeoff. We'll talk. I will do, because I still have yet to do part 2 of Incel. So I'm gonna get Christina in. Mo, don't fall asleep on us. We'll do it tomorrow at 9, right? And we'll have this time. I'll make sure Christina sends you the links during the day of all the research me and her looked at. Remember some of the stuff that we were talking about that day that we looked up through the osteopathy website and Psychology Today. I'm gonna give you everything so you could really get a composite, because a lot of people didn't understand how powerful that first show was, right? Because even Christina herself didn't realize it's a psychology phenomenon of men, like Marcus said, that are totally out in the cold of dating or even just having access to vagina. So yeah, like, it's the truth, you know. But that we hold it. We'll end it there.
Look. We can say easy things, right? Mo, do you think it's easier for a man to get sex from a woman or a woman to get sex from a man?
Man to get sex from a woman.
Absolutely not. On that note,
you think it? Wait, hold on.
Good night.
On that note, we gotta
Mo
go.
is crazy.
Mo is tripping.
She just
Good night.
Mo.
Because you know what?